As a small business owner, you don't have the luxury of clocking out early. Your business is on your mind 24/7. So when you're hiring, you need a partner that grinds just as hard as you do. That hiring partner is LinkedIn Jobs. When you clock out, LinkedIn clocks in. LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free, share it with your network, and get qualified candidates that you can manage all in one place. Post your job. LinkedIn's new feature can help you write job descriptions and then quickly get your job in front of the right people with deep candidate insights. Get qualified candidates. At the end of the day, the most important thing to your small business is qualified candidates. And with LinkedIn, you can feel confident that you're getting the best. Share with your network. You can let your network know you're hiring. You can even add a hashtag hiring frame to your profile picture and get 2 times more qualified candidates. Find out why more than 2.5 small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring today. Find your next great hire on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/breakfast. That's linkedin.com/breakfast to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere, nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. They ship Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garten's famous cakes. So if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT.
Welcome into Breakfast Ball alongside Danny Parkins, Craig Carton. I am Mark Schler. Thank you so much for making us a part of your morning.
What a great day.
Oh, wait a minute. Are we celebrating?
Game 7. We're going to the NBA Finals. Look out, Oklahoma City.
Oh, my God.
You
Really?
have no idea what's coming after a gritty late fourth quarter run yesterday at the Mecca. The team I told you was never going to quit does all the right things to fight back against Indiana
right.
and advance to their first. Wait a minute.
Yeah, you have one team in there.
Wait
right.
a minute.
One team was correct.
Wait a minute.
Right.
That's
What's it like working with Craig, Danny?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Hold on for a second.
I had great plans for today.
Yeah.
Damn Knicks. Well, it would have felt good had they advanced.
That would have been a great story for you.
Yeah.
It would have been a great story.
Yeah,
But
we still have
we still have a great story, by the way. The NBA Finals are all set. Pacers set to take on the number 1 seed Thunder. The Thunder entering the finals as heavy favorites. Here's SGA breaking down the Pacers. Take a listen.
I don't think they changed much. I think they were a really good team back then. They were on a roll back then. And they're on a roll now. I think I saw something like since January, us and them have the best records in the NBA. And they've been playing good basketball, so I don't think much has changed. They're going to be a tough opponent regardless. They were tough in March, and they'll be tough come Thursday.
So, Danny, let me start with you. Are you giving the Pacers a chance in this series?
More of a chance than most. Listen, I think the Thunder are going to win. I think that there's a good chance that the thing's over in 5. I do expect it to be really entertaining basketball. And thanks for watching, Shay, because we've been all over that.
Yeah, it's us.
Two best teams since January. But you know what's kind of funny about that? Like, if you're the Pacers, you could actually spin what he just said there into bulletin board material, because he's like, they were tough in March. They were tough in March. Well, that March game, the Thunder won by 21. They won 132-111, and it wasn't a particularly close game. The game I actually remember that these two teams played was the game the day after Christmas.
Whoa.
Because SGA had 45.
Right.
And he had, at that point, it was a career high, 45 day after Christmas. They won by, they scored 7, they outscored by 7 in the fourth to win the game by 6. It was a very close game entering the fourth quarter. SGA went crazy. I think we're going to get really entertaining basketball. I don't know if it's going to go 7. I think the Thunder are obviously much better defensively, but the problem for the Pacers and why I don't think they're going to be that tough is because what they want to do in terms of style of play, in terms of pace, is exactly what the Thunder are capable of doing.
Right.
Like the Pacers got all this love, deservedly, because of the run they're on, because of Halliburton, because of how fast they play. And the only problem for them is that the Thunder, as Craig has pointed out all year, they're totally happy to run.
Bring it on.
They're a great athletic team, which is why like the over-under for Game 1 is 230.
Which is ridiculous.
Like we're going to see a lot of scoring and a lot of running and a lot of transition. And so I think the issue for Indiana could be that Oklahoma City does exactly what they want to do, just a little bit better.
Yeah, this is the problem for Indiana. You go against a team like the Knicks who can't match that up-tempo, style of offense and break you after you've even made baskets, and you can beat them, and the fast break points show that. When you're going up to the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're like, no, run. Please run.
Yeah.
Because we can run as good as anybody, right? Look, I think this is just a terrible mismatch. I do. I think Indiana won their championship when they beat the Knicks and getting out to the NBA final. It's going to be exciting because no matter who wins it, it's a first-time NBA champion. Well, that's great. And by the way, the commissioner, Adam Silver, is going to join us in studio tomorrow.
And my guess is he does think that's great.
I think he thinks it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But it'll be at 9:15 tomorrow morning Eastern Time. Adam Silver in studio. That being said, SG is not stupid. He's not going to say anything that's going to give Indiana extra motivation. Not that you need it for the stage of the playoffs. To me, it's just a mismatch.
It is. You look at both teams. Both teams go 10 deep, like off their bench. They've got great players. They can play defense. They both can run. They're both athletically gifted. We talk about all the time with SGA and the Thunder about how oftentimes it looks like there's 6, 7 guys playing defense at one time. But I go back to kind of my NFL roots, the turnover battle.
Sure.
You win the turnover battle, you win the NFL. You win the turnover battle, and that's the thing that the Thunder do better than anybody else. Creating turnovers, 17.2, first in the NBA turnovers per game. Now the Pacers are fourth best in the NFL or in the NBA of not turning it over. But if you
it's
create
a strength thing, right?
Right, it is a strength versus strength thing. But if you create those turnovers, and we talked about their bench and their athleticism and their ability to run, this is a classic matchup of two really athletic teams that want to play the same style. I just think that the Thunder are better than the Pacers at playing that style.
They are better at it, but the reason why, if they both want to do it, and they're both excellent at things like that, turning the ball over, protecting the ball, getting out and running, transition, depth. They both have great coaches. Daigneault was coach of the year last year, finalist for it this year. Rick Carlisle is one of the great coaches in the NBA in the last 30 years who's won a championship. They both have all NBA caliber players. They're going to have the ball in their hands a lot in SGA and Tyrese Halliburton. It would just surprise me if it was a sweep. That's all. Like if you play a high-scoring game, and we know the Pacers can get hot, and obviously they're going to get home games 3 and 4.
Right.
Like it feels to me like we will see high-scoring games that will be in doubt in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I'm not a Chet Holmgren guy. I think he's soft, but between him and Isaiah Hartenstein, who happens to be black, which is a great little side story there, they can't match their size down low either. Like, Miles Turner's better away from the basket than he is under the basket.
Right.
So they can beat you a couple ways. You want to try to press us out on the perimeter?
Yeah.
No problem. We'll go inside. Who's going to stop those guys inside? Not that they're the greatest low-post players of all time. They're just the best team in basketball.
They are.
And this is going to be a coronation of their greatness. And I'm going to put my money, let's think, on Danny Parkins to be the first guy
Thank you.
on national television to say on Friday morning, after a Thunder convincing Game 1 win, how many consecutive titles do you think they're going to win? Is it the start of a dynasty?
Right.
Right?
I am looking forward to that conversation.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to that. Because I do think the era of the dynasty is going to be tougher and tougher to come by, and the league is designing for parity and the second apron and things that people don't want to talk about with the finances of the NBA. But if there's anyone who can do it, it's the best executive in the sport, Sam Presti, who has the most draft picks in the sport, who has this young team poised to make a run. So I don't know that I'll immediately say dynasty, but I do think that they will have a very good chance of repeating.
Remember when the Golden State Warriors had the starts of their dynasty, and then, that's right, they added Kevin Durant?
Yeah.
And we're all saying, that's not fair.
Yeah.
You don't need Kevin Durant to win. Oklahoma City's in the same spot. I think they're going to win the championship. I think we all do.
Yeah.
No, just a question of how many games.
Correct.
And then this offseason, if they want to, maybe Kevin Durant goes back. Maybe they make an offer to get the Greek Freak. They're built for the long haul.
Right. I think to Danny's point, though, in that small market, unlike what happened in Golden State with all the money they spent and going way over the cap and going
the big
that second half, will the Thunder want to go down that road?
That's
can they go? Can they even go down that road?
You bet your ass they're going to go down that road.
Well, the Thunder have never paid. The Thunder have never paid the luxury tax, and it's why the Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Kevin Durant Thunder broke up, and the Golden State Warriors, very famously, Steph Curry got them a new arena. They had the highest payroll for a long time. They were totally happy to pay Klay Thompson, pay Draymond Green, and all of those things. So that will be a potential limiting factor for the Thunder down the road. Got to win the first one, and they are a massive, massive favorite. It'll be a huge disappointment if they don't. But just the quality of their coach, the quality of their executive, and the youth. Man, Shea is 26. Jalen Williams just turned 24. Chet Holmgren is 23.
Right.
They've got all of those draft picks. Like they can do what they did for Alex Caruso is basically like, hey, the Bulls, you want to pay Josh Giddey? Great. Give us a cost-controlled, cheap player in Alex Caruso on a great deal. They'll be able to go around the league and say, oh, that's a great player who's underpaid. We want to trade for him. So that they'll be able to keep doing things like that. So, yeah, they're set up for the now and the
future.
For
a long, long time.
Yeah.
They can play any way they want. They want to keep the core together. They're going to have to pay guys. They'll lose a guy or two along the way. You want to go out there and get the best available free agent or a guy that wants to be traded?
Yeah.
They'll be in the mix for that because they got more draft picks than anybody. And I'm not sure how Clay Bennett, he's the owner of the Oklahoma City Thunder, did it. But he did it. And he keeps on doing it. And he bought the team, think about this, for $350 million. What do you suppose the Thunder are worth today, Marky Mark?
I would say a tad over $1 billion.
Higher, Bob.
$2 billion.
Higher, Bob.
$3 billion.
Higher, Bob.
$4 billion?
Higher, Bob.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I've got the numbers. You think I come here unprepared?
Yeah, well, okay.
Higher, Bob.
$5 billion?
Lower, Bob.
4.2.
In between $4 and $5 billion.
It's a good buy.
Yeah.
It's a
Bought
good
it
buy.
for $350. What?
Yeah.
And they're going to be damn good for a very, very long time. The only thing I'd push back at, I know we got to go to a wake-up call here in a second, is you're still living, and I say this respectfully, in the early 80s. And I get it. You're a child of the 70s, right? There's no more notion of small market teams in the NBA. Doesn't exist anymore. They're all global. It's a global sport. They're all billionaire owners. And the notion that, well, the Knicks or the Lakers or the Bulls being in bigger markets have a better opportunity to spend more money, that was 80s, 100%. That doesn't exist anymore.
Well, I do think it might not be market size, but, I mean, I'm a fan of the Bulls in a big market, and Jerry Reinsdorf doesn't pay the luxury tax.
That's an unwillingness, not an incapability.
No, I understand. But so the point is, though, that, like, not every owner is willing to pay the luxury tax. Big market, small market. It is a quality of ownership thing.
The other thing is, from just a market size standpoint, if you feel like you've got an ability to market yourself in a bigger, in an LA, in a New York, in a Boston. If you're one of those guys that's trying to build your brand, you've already built, part of your career. Well, then those places become more appealing to you because of the Madison Avenue kind of aspect to it.
I not to go in the weeds on this, I thoroughly disagree with that, and I think there was a time when that was very accurate. If I want to become a global superstar as an individual, I better play in one of the 4, 5, 6 largest markets, so I have access to all those things. But, from a commercial standpoint, from an endorsement standpoint, from a sponsorship standpoint, I could be in Oklahoma City and get just as much play as the starting point guard for the Knicks.
Yeah, you're not going to get as much attention, and the networks are not going to give you as much attention when you play for Oklahoma City. That's one of the reasons we sit there and say, coming into the playoffs, people are like, hey, we're not afraid to get in the bracket of Oklahoma City because they haven't done it. Like,
people did overlook this team nationally. There's no doubt about it. They were on national TV less. But if I'm a Pacer fan or a Pacer employee, I play this segment in the lead up to it this week. Question, can the Pacers be tough for the Thunder? And it's like, are the Thunder going to be a dynasty? You know what I mean?
Sure.
People are just completely overlooking. I think we're going to get really entertaining basketball.
I hope we don't.
I agree. I agree.
You're bitter.
I agree with you. I think it will be entertaining.
I hope it's a blowout. I'll watch it anyway because I'm a fan. I hope they win every game by 30. Screw Indiana.
Yeah.
Utasakutan.
Yeah. All right,
what
it's
I said,
time
yeah.
now. Craig Carton, take it away for Wake Up Call.
All right, the Detroit Tigers are the best story in baseball, not known as the Yankees, of course. And sometimes things just go your way. Let's take a look here. Excuse me. Off the catcher's glove.
Oh,
no
no.
problem. Look what I found.
An assist.
No problem right there. Off the catcher's glove, right into the third baseman's glove. That still counts as you're out.
Yeah.
Nice job there. That's what things are going your way.
Yeah, they are going your way.
That's the 98 Broncos right there. All right, so
were
women's
just
college
good.
softball. Oklahoma's won 4 consecutive national titles. Texas Tech, bottom of the last. You notice how first base is open. The Oklahoma manager's cocky. Decides, we're going to pitch to the girl anyway. Let's hear what happened. Shall we?
Will they pitch to Lauren Allred? It looks like it. Allred's first pitch swinging into right. Barker loads up. Davis to the plate.
Save that home!
Texas Tech has done it.
Texas Tech
And the greatest dynasty
stops
in
the
college
greatest
softball
dynasty
history.
in women's college softball history with a walk-off sacrifice fly. And again, first base was open. Why didn't you walk the girl and at least sit up the force at any base? Bad managing cost you a chance to get your 5th consecutive title. Oh well, that's the way it goes. All right, I got one more for you. You and your buddies go out to the local pool hall. All right, fine, I'll break. You want me to break, Danny?
Yeah.
I'm going to break. I go first. All right, here we go. I like being stripes. I like stripes better than solids. But I'm going to break. And yeah.
What?
Yeah. By the
Get
way,
outta here.
that'll be $5.
Yeah, get out of here. Get out
And what's crazy is off the break where he makes every single ball on the table, therefore he wins the match.
Including the
He
eight
looked
ball.
to his buddy and he said, my man.
Of course he did. Hey, coming up, Saquon Barkley may have won the Super Bowl last year, but find out why he may be doomed this season. Danny's got more.
As a small business owner, you don't have the luxury of clocking out early. Your business is on your mind 24/7. So when you're hiring, you need a partner that grinds just as hard as you do. That hiring partner is LinkedIn Jobs. When you clock out, LinkedIn clocks in. LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free, share it with your network, and get qualified candidates that you can manage all in one place. Post your job. LinkedIn's new feature can help you write job descriptions and then quickly get your job in front of the right people with deep candidate insights. Get qualified candidates. At the end of the day, the most important thing to your small business is qualified candidates. And with LinkedIn, you can feel confident that you're getting the best. Share with your network. You can let your network know you're hiring. You can even add a hashtag hiring frame to your profile picture and get 2 times more qualified candidates. Find out why more than 2.5 small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring today. Find your next great hire on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/breakfast. That's linkedin.com/breakfast to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
What?
All right, time now for stories to start your morning. Stephon Diggs was back at OTAs yesterday after footage emerged last weekend on a boat with a questionable substance.
Uh-oh.
Will Stephon Diggs be a distraction for the Patriots, Danny?
No. I mean, I don't mean to generalize here, but do we think his teammates have 1% of a problem with what he did?
No.
Right?
Then some of them might be jealous.
That's what I'm saying.
Get me on that boat.
They're going to want to hear stories.
There was a lot of, excuse me, there was a lot of, I didn't say it. I caught myself there.
You did.
There was a lot of twerking going on that boat.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs will not be a distraction for his
I don't know how the
teammates.
boat thing worked for the Giants.
Not well.
Not well.
Not well.
Timing, though. This is May. This is when you're supposed to be on a boat.
Okay.
Yeah, this is good. This is fine. This is fine timing. Now, if he gets suspended, if he gets put into some sort of like substance program by the league, and then something else comes out, well, then sure. But as of now,
The most remarkable thing is what I'm watching right now. Would you look at the movement skills? This guy is just off an ACL.
Yeah.
Like you know what? You can put up with some of the off-season boating activities when you got a guy that moves that way.
Yes and no. Yes and no. You can put up with, you want to have 20 women and a harem of gals on a boat, all good. You know, you're an adult, they're adults, it's legal, do what you want to do. The boat wasn't the problem. The women were not the problem. It's what was in the little plastic bag. That's the potential problem. Now, we all think we know what it was.
Yeah.
We can't accuse him of that because we don't know. I'm going to assume that he's being drug tested by the NFL now that he's in OTAs, which gives them the right to do that. And I'm going to assume he has passed that test.
Right. For street drugs, no, not unless you're in the program. You get tested for street drugs.
But don't they randomly test whatever they want?
No, they randomly test for performance-enhancing drugs, but
not for cocaine
drugs.
And marijuana and that stuff?
No.
Oh, that's a new one on me. Thank you. I thought they did.
Yeah.
In any event, yes, he's always a distraction. No, he's not a distraction just yet.
All right, we move on. Rough day for Sam Darnold, throwing 2 interceptions yesterday. Seahawks OTAs. Can Darnold repeat the success he had last season in Seattle this year?
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I got to start going to meetings. Because
you were there in body.
I was at this meeting?
Yeah, you were at this meeting.
In body.
Come on. Are we really keeping stats in OTAs? I lauded against somebody who was Shadur. I got to be consistent. Stop this. Come on.
100,
what are we doing?
100%. This is so stupid.
Oh, my God. Sam Darnold threw an interception in June.
Right. He threw,
oh, my God.
He threw 2 picks in the red zone. You know what? We're trying to push the ball in 7-on-7. In 7-on-7, I'd be more concerned if you scrambled. Like we saw the Giants footage of Russell Wilson. I'd be more concerned that you scramble in there than throwing picks, because what are you trying to do? You're trying to figure out what you can and can't do.
I'll just say this. I'm not concerned about the picks and OTAs. I'm concerned about giving Sam Darnold $100 million.
That's fine.
So I'll use that as an excuse to talk about that.
This is on you, by the way. And I'm not, I don't make it seem like I'm a little ornery today. I'm not.
Okay.
And I'm picking on you. I don't mean to pick on you.
That's okay.
You're in the same meeting I'm in.
Yeah.
If you agree with me, this is stupid. Say it in the meeting.
Why would I say it in the meeting?
So that we don't do this.
No, this is great.
Oh, okay.
No, this is why we put it in when you're not paying attention. So that we can get a reaction like that from you.
Are we really going to start keeping OTA stats? Are we really doing that? Are we going to have a front page story in the Seattle Times today about this?
Yeah, 100%. That's what they put the reporters out there, and the reporters chart every throw, and then they'd have no idea what they're looking at, but they chart them. All right, we move on. Lions center Frank Ragnow has announced retirement from the NFL at age 29. Ragnow was a 4-time Pro Bowler. How does retirement impact the Lions offense? Danny, let's start with you.
Well, this came out of nowhere for a lot of us. I'm sure not as much for the Lions, given what they did in the draft, but an excellent player retiring at 29 on a team that is expected to win a Super Bowl is a big story. And the youth now of the interior of the offensive line for the Lions, to me, becomes a much bigger vulnerability than losing Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. Those will be the things that everyone talks about. But like I said yesterday, I think Ben Johnson's a bigger add for the Bears than he is lost for the Lions. I mean, imagine if Glasgow gets hurt, how young they are in the interior for a non-mobile Jared Goff. So much of what they do, I mean, I've been saying it as a statement of fact. Eagles' offensive line's the best. Lions is the second best.
Yeah.
Ragnow is a big piece of that.
Ragnow's a huge piece of that. Then you look at the inside 3, your ability to step up in the pocket. But this Tate Ratledge kid, I don't know him. And I haven't really studied him. But would you look at that mullet? And plus, he's wearing the Gucci 69. I mean, this guy's got to be good. Look at that. Flowing locks at the combine. How is this guy not going to be great?
Frankly, that's a Pro Bowler right there.
Yeah.
That's the greatest center in all of football right there.
And
I can judge a movie just by the poster they put out for the movie. I can judge a player just by the haircut and the look. Look at the stash.
What's weird about Ragnow, though, is that, he signed that 4-year extension back in 23 not long ago. So he had an intention of playing into his 30s. He wasn't making crazy big money for the top offensive lineman of football, but about $10 million a year. But now the Lions get the benefit of him retiring. They have $50 million now. Not that they can use it. In cap space,
well, they can make a trade for an expensive
who's available, but they now have more money available to spend than any team in football. The question is, how do you spend it, right? On the eve of training camp.
Well, but you could always trade a draft pick for an expensive veteran. Like that's allowed in the NFL. So yeah, that's a good point.
I heard that they were making an offer to get Jason Kelce to come out of retirement.
Oh, you did hear that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
I did.
On the golf course?
On the golf course.
While you were shooting a 7 under?
Did you say it, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said it.
I heard it.
Just to make sense. Why not?
Listen, man, why not? Why not?
Podcast isn't working out for him.
Maybe their offensive line coach, Hank Fraley, could come out of retirement.
Former Eagle.
Yeah, former Eagle. Saquon Barkley was announced as the new cover boy for Madden 26. Here's footage of Saquon doing his signature backwards leap, although he had strings. I'm told he had strings from the producer.
Yeah. From our Giants fan producer.
All right. Right decision to make Saquon the cover boy.
Sure. He's coming off one of the great seasons ever. He won a Super Bowl. That's an awesome picture. It was an iconic play. I got no problem with Saquon being chosen to be the cover of Madden. You get mad with the Heisman Trophy is just a quarterback award. The MVP is just a quarterback award. We put Josh Allen on there, and quarterbacks get enough. Let Madden go to the running back. I got no problem with it. It's a good choice.
Yeah, I thought it was the greatest single physical play I'd ever seen a professional football player ever do in live action.
Wow.
When he leapt backwards and the whole thing, which we're now recreating with ropes and pulleys and whatnot.
Spin move here first.
Like right here. Whoop! That's just one of the great physical things I've ever seen a running back do. And I like Saquon Barkley a lot. Lousy golfer. That being said, now I'm getting sick and tired of it.
Why?
Because
you people are never
because
satisfied.
How can you be sick of greatness?
Ridiculous.
Because now it's being shoved down my throat. I get it.
Do you even play Madden?
I do all the time.
All the time?
Yeah, quite good.
You're a good franchise guy?
Yeah.
Are you good to quite good?
Have the Jets won a championship?
Never.
No.
We always come up with short.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
No, look, I'm happy. He should be on the cover. I got no problem with him being on the cover. Nice to see a non-quarterback on the cover. It was the signature play of all of last year in the regular season. And now I kindly ask you to stop shoving it down my throat. You won the Super Bowl. You got a contract extension.
I just want to be sure I understand your argument here.
Stop. What are we doing?
I want to be sure I understand your argument.
Yeah.
That you like the guy.
I love him.
And that is one of the most incredible plays you've ever seen.
I've never seen anything better.
And you've got no problem with them putting him on the cover of Madden.
I like him on the cover.
But now you don't want them to advertise their new video.
Right.
Stop shoving it down my throat. That's all.
You stop advertising your video.
No. I mean, it's great too because the story's awesome, right? I mean, the Giants basically said, "Hey, we give up on you. We don't want you anymore. We're going to move you out. We'd rather go with Danny Dimes." And then all of a sudden, you go to Philadelphia and have this remarkable 2,000-yard season. It's a great story with the greatest video. You just said it was.
He had a great season, one of the greatest seasons of all time.
Yeah.
Check. He's a great guy. Check. Super Bowl champion. A check.
Yeah.
Signature play of last year. Check.
Won the Super Bowl on his birthday.
Let's not Let's not get what happened in New York twisted, because so many people do. He was a disappointment for the New York Giants based on where they took him and what we know he's capable of doing.
His rookie year, he was phenomenal.
His rookie year was 6 years ago. He was great.
He tore his ACL, and then Joe Judge comes in and says, "Hey, listen, I don't want to run the zone stuff that Saquon Barkley's good at. Let's put in a gap scheme that he doesn't run." That's
he was a
mismanagement of your player.
Yes.
Put him in a system that doesn't work. Don't blame him. Blame the idiot that put him there.
He played about half the games he was eligible for. He was injured every other year with the Giants. He was their best player. He was the face of the organization. I sat on this show day after day yelling and screaming, "Do not let him go. Get him signed." That being said, if you talk to diehard Giants fans, and yes, they're bitter that he went to Philly and obviously won a Super Bowl.
They're idiots.
If you talk to diehard Giant fans and you say,
the producers won.
how would you describe Saquon Barkley's career as a Giant? One word: disappointing.
Ethan, how would you describe the Saquon Barkley's career as a Giant? Disappointing, he said.
By the way, Ethan's mom told me that it was disappointing.
Oh, wow.
Really?
How about that?
Ethan was disappointing?
Look, great year, great guy, maybe a Hall of Famer, but a disappointing career as a Giant.
But I don't understand. What are we doing? He clearly won the breakup. He went to a competent organization. He was great.
Jesus loves me?
No, his mom loves him.
She does.
What's going on?
What'd you say?
I said, what is going on?
I don't know. Hey, the Bengals bangled again last year, fell short of the playoffs. What does Burrow need to do to get back this postseason? We discuss next. All right, we've got Bryson, Koepka, Rahm, Phil, DJ, some of the biggest names in golf teaming it up at Live Golf Virginia. Catch the coverage round 1 Friday at 2 Eastern on Fox, and then the final round Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern on FS1.
Yeah, Scotty Scheffler wouldn't win that tournament.
I don't know about that. All right, we move on to the Bengals. Despite a monster year from Joe Burrow, the Bengals fell just short of the playoffs again last season. Here's Joe Burrow on what he could have done differently last year. Take a listen.
There's always more you can do. You know, if I played even better, then we wouldn't have been in that spot that we were in. So I'm just focused on trying to get better myself. And, you know, I know everybody in the locker room feels the same way. So if I go out there and play better than I did last year, then it doesn't matter what goes on everywhere else.
Well, that was a load of horse crap. So is Burrow right?
Well, what do you think, Stink? Sounds like you maybe disagree.
Well, I mean, how are you going to play any better than Joe Burrow did? You know, I'd have more. It's not that I disrespect, because Joe Burrow is great, right? But the truth of the matter is they have to play differently. He can't play much better. Could you agree that he can't play much better than he played?
No, listen, that's exactly the point I was going to make, but then you're just overt disgust at the question. It made me feel like you should go first.
All right.
No one threw more passes last year. No one threw for more yards.
Click.
And no one threw for more touchdowns. And he played every game.
Yeah.
He's a real problem.
Yeah, so like, he obviously I didn't even want to put a graphic together to be like, Joe Burrow was really good last year.
Right.
It's just dumb. It's just all the counting stats where he was first, and it was fairly obvious. So, no, he's obviously not right. That's like leadership 101. Right?
Yeah.
That's what that is.
It's on me, take responsibility.
It's on me. You deflect all of the credit and you take all of the blame.
Yep.
But there is not a person in the world, including Joe Burrow, who believes that he was the problem with the Bengals last year.
And yet, Joe Burrow did not come out and say, I want to make sure that I redo my contract so Trey Hendrickson gets a new contract, but I'll make sure that my wide receivers, get new contracts. Look, the guy had the greatest season you could ever have and not make the playoffs, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Correct.
Like, score 30 points and lose. That was the Bengals last year.
Correct.
So I appreciate what he said. No one believes it, but we kind of appreciate it, right?
Yeah, it's not Joe Burrow's responsibility to manage the Cincinnati Bengals cap.
Well,
it's not his responsibility. Like, his responsibility is to play quarterback. He's great at playing quarterback. And if they want to renegotiate, give him more upfront money, move it out over years, I know that we had him on the show. We had him at the show.
And we said directly, would you not take less money? Would you restructure, sign, like you said, signing bonus, whatever the case may be, upfront money, so that they can make sure the key guys that need new contracts get them? And his answer without hesitation was 100%.
I would like to see him stand up for Trey Hendrickson like he did for T. Higgins.
Right, but, man, it's not on him. Like, I think he has done that, but Joe Burrow he's not making $75 million when Dak Prescott's at 60 and everyone else is in the 50. Like, Joe Burrow has, if anything, outperformed his contract.
Sure.
Like, Joe Burrow is not the reason that the Bengals can't give Trey Hendrickson what Danielle Hunter got.
Right.
Like, Joe Burrow is making a totally reasonable amount of money for how good he is. Now, it's not reasonable for everyone else in the world, but compared to his peers, he is, if anything, a little underpaid. Mm-hmm. So he happens to work for an organization that is stringent with their cash, and so they are not as comfortable giving out as many big guarantees as they could as an NFL team where there's a cap and a floor. They easily could pay Trey Hendrickson.
Yes,
easily.
They're choosing not to.
So but that's not on Joe Burrow to fix.
They easily could get their first-round draft pick into camp,
right?
So he learns the defense. But they're choosing not to.
Right. It's not on Burrow.
It isn't on Burrow, but if Burrow put pressure on the organization, would the organization work a little bit harder to get Trey Hendrickson the money that he wants? I don't know the answer to that question, but there's not a whole lot more that Joe Burrow can do as far as playing is concerned.
Well, I think hold on
nothing.
now. Hold on.
All right.
You have sat on this show and said Joe Burrow needs to learn how to score slower.
Well, no. That goes to coaching. That goes to adjusting the way you play offense to take some pressure off a leaky defense.
Let the clock run a little bit.
Right,
Snap
run
at
the ball,
1, not at 11.
Run the ball a little bit more. Put Joe Burrow under center a little bit more. Do some things that are more in line with eating up clock and managing a game.
Right.
It's the single worst take in breakfast ball history.
No.
Yes!
It's
Craig is
number 2.
Craig is 2 through 20.
Yes.
It's 100% true.
You win.
It's next level.
Worst take.
It's next level analysis that
I'll just never understand. Score fewer points.
Yeah.
I'll never understand.
No, it wasn't score fewer.
Slower.
It's eat up more clock.
Right.
Because you guys take it out of context. Well, because I'm right. I'm right.
Hey, Jamar Chase, when you catch that slant and you're taking it 70 yards from the house,
Stop
at the 9.
Yeah. That has nothing to do with it.
We're playing Madden
that
and you're wide open.
has nothing to do with it.
No, I
nothing
understand
to do
what you're
with it.
saying.
You know, like when you're playing Madden and you're about to score the touchdown against your buddy, and you start like weaving back and forth to the goal line,
exactly.
just to really piss him off.
Yeah,
that's what Mark wants to piss.
Let me just say this right here to the camera.
Go ahead, that one right there.
Just any camera. This one right here. This camera. That camera. That's the wrong camera. Let's say how about this one right here? Right here.
See the red light?
Yeah, I see that. Oh, there it is. There it is.
Oh, wow.
These two simpletons can't understand advanced level NFL discussion.
Fair enough. By the way,
that's what it is.
Fair enough.
All right, how about Danny's dives?
Is charged.
Speaking of next level.
Yeah, next level.
Right.
Oh.
Next level analysis right here.
This is where you come to for next level stuff. Big brain stuff right here. Saquon Barkley doesn't just have the Madden curse to compete with. It's 2 curses this coming year. Yeah, let's start with the Madden curse. Everyone knows. Running backs in particular on the Madden curse. Christian McCaffrey only plays 4 games the next year. Peyton Hillis only 1,200 yards the rest of his career. Sean Alexander had 27 touchdowns to make the Madden cover, only 11 touchdowns the rest of his career. Marshall Faulk, 0 seasons of 1,000 yards after the Madden cover. Eddie George, 3.2 yards per carry. So we know the Madden cover curse is real for running backs. Are you familiar with the Offensive Player of the Year curse that's developing?
No, I never heard that one.
Only 5 years in the making, but the last 5 years, Michael Thomas misses 9 games after being Offensive Player of the Year. Derrick Henry misses 9 games. Cooper Kupp misses 8 games the following year. Justin Jefferson, 7. And Christian McCaffrey, 13. The last 5 Offensive Player of the Years have had their year followed up with massive injury. Madden cover and Offensive Player of the Year.
Too much to overcome.
I wouldn't be drafting him in the first round of fantasy football. I'll tell you that right now.
Let me ask you this, though. Do multiple curses, right? 2 curses cancel them out, like a double negative?
Oh, I didn't know that they taught you that at Idaho.
Right, well, no, I mean you got your take cape on, right? Right. So your take cape.
Yeah.
So would the two curses cancel out and make it like ineffective?
That's possible. I hadn't really considered it because we have seen 2,000-yard seasons be followed up by like Adrian Peterson had a very good season after he had 2,000 yards. Chris Johnson had a very good season after 2,000 yards. So it's possible, but this is a lot of headwinds, Craig. Coming at Saquon Barkley. You're my Huckleberry on this one.
Yeah, look, I love it. I love it. I think he's probably gonna not get into October this year healthy.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there's a high likelihood that the season's a wrap. Plus, there's even a third curse. What did Wilbur Montgomery do in 1981 after the Eagles' Super Bowl appearance out of New Orleans?
I don't know.
Neither do I, but it couldn't have been good.
Oh,
really?
They didn't win.
Well, because we don't know it, so obviously it's bad.
A lot of curses.
All right,
Wilbur,
I got another
Wilbur
dime for you, gentlemen.
Love Wilbur.
I still think that SGA in this season, even though he won the MVP over Joker, I still think it's being underappreciated. Historical context here. We all agree that if the Thunder win, he's going to win Finals MVP?
I mean, unless Siakam gets it.
Finals MVP if they win it.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I saw you did that. These are the 10 players in NBA history to win an MVP and a Finals MVP in the same season. Obviously, if you're Finals MVP, you also win the championship. Jordan did it 4 times. That's pretty good. LeBron did it twice, and then it's just a who's who. Willis Reed, Kareem, Moses, Larry, Magic, Hakeem, Shaq, and Duncan. So those are the 10 guys to win Finals MVP and regular season MVP, same season NBA history.
Willis Reed didn't earn his, but go ahead.
All right. Now, let's factor in for age. Doing it at 26 years of age or younger, Kareem and Duncan. That's the list.
Pretty good.
I mean, so if we are talking about an all-time season, 68 wins, best point differential, those Thunder accomplishments, some of this stuff on SGA has been, well, Joker had better stats, or, well, he gets it at the free throw line, or it's voter fatigue. No, man. This is a all-time season for a player his age, period.
Yeah, which is why he's MVP and why, rightfully so, he's viewed as one of the great players in all of basketball, with lots more to come, and maybe a Hall of Fame introduction, 20 years from now, whatever the case may be. That's why he's worth $300 million at 26
They're
years old.
They're still underrating it, Craig.
Yeah.
It's not enough. It's not enough. $300 million in the MVP is not enough.
The only thing I don't like about the anti-SGA narrative or rhetoric out there is what you alluded to. The free throw merchant thing's got to stop.
It's crazy.
It's got to stop. Like, he doesn't call the fouls.
Right.
If you want the refs to stop calling ticky-tacky fouls, that's on them. And by the way, even my guy, Michael Jordan, every great player from 1980 through today has gotten the benefit of questionable calls. I don't care what year you look at.
Superstar treatment.
Right.
That's what it is.
You know how you get fouls called?
Because David Stern recognized, what do the fans want? They want their superstars more, right?
Right.
And that's what SGA benefits from as well.
You get fouls called when you, attack the basket.
Also,
and that dude
he
attacks the basket better than anybody else. He's a great two-way player. He is phenomenal, and I'm with you on the dime.
All right,
Great job by you.
There's a false narrative out there about him that he drives a Honda CR-V. I fact-checked it. Not true.
Hey, guys, join us tomorrow on Breakfast Ball. Commissioner of the NBA, Adam Silver, joins the show 9:15. Don't want to miss the commish right here on Breakfast Ball.
Yeah, he comes in twice a year, and good to have him on the eve of the NBA Finals. Looking forward to having Adam in here.
Yep, bring gifts, buddy. Bring gifts. Saquon Barkley's the new cover of Madden, but is he the best non-QB in the NFL? The wheel has the answers. Craig,
That's
take
right,
it away.
my friend. So it is the wheel of the best non-quarterback in the NFL. So no quarterbacks up here. Saquon's the guy, like you said. Cover of Madden, gets the contract extension, new face of the league. But is he the best non-quarterback currently playing football in the NFL? Got it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Spin
that wheel.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
Start.
Julio Jones.
No, sir.
What was
Not
this, 1999?
No, sir.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
Chris Jones,
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs stud, defensive tackle, and the best player on that defense that's got all them Super Bowl rings. But is Chris Jones a more important and better player than Saquon Barkley?
It's an interesting question that you would pose to me.
Yeah.
And I'll just go back a couple of months, Danny, to the Super Bowl.
Do it.
Yeah, and during the course of the Super Bowl, who ended up winning that game? I don't remember.
The Eagles and
The
Saquon
Eagles
Barkley.
and Saquon Barkley
Yes.
over Chris Jones, right?
Correct.
I think from an impact standpoint, last year, based on just the whole season in general, the 2,000 yards, Jones is a phenomenal player. But I'm going to say Saquon Barkley, the bigger impact player.
You're the Chiefs guy here. What do you think?
Wow. So last year, yes. The Super Bowl, yes. But, it's not a one-on-one game. This isn't pickup basketball. Like, the Eagles were just the much better team. Chris Jones, if such a thing exists as a clutch defensive lineman, he's the most clutch defensive player of my lifetime. Like, the number of big plays that guy has had in the playoffs. And I think that there are more running backs that could have great seasons behind the Eagles' offensive line. DeAndre Swift was a Pro Bowler behind that offensive line 2 years ago. Than what Chris Jones can do in the interior of a defensive line. I'll take Chris Jones.
To be fair, you're 17, so.
Have you heard of Lawrence Taylor?
I have. I was born in '86.
There you go.
He was good that year.
I'm taking Saquon over Chris Jones. Chris Jones has had some amazing individual plays that ended Super Bowls.
Yeah.
But this guy won the Super Bowl.
He's unbelievable.
Because you can't say, Jalen Hurts isn't that good. Without Saquon Barkley, they don't win a Super Bowl. and then have him over Chris
Well,
Jones.
Chris Jones has 3 times the number of Super Bowls as Saquon Barkley.
Thank God he's Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback, right?
Yeah.
All right. Spin that wheel. He has not shown up for OTAs. Not sure if that's going to influence your decision.
Yes.
But best non-quarterback in the NFL. Would you take my guy, lousy golfer, Saquon Barkley, or the best defensive player on a team that has never gotten to the NFC Championship game with him on the roster, Micah Parsons?
I'd much rather have Micah Parsons on my team than Saquon Barkley. I would. More impactful position. I think a better player. Again, the ability to produce when you are the guy that everyone is game planning for in Micah Parsons is to me impressive. Whereas Saquon Barkley, yes, they game plan for you.
Yeah.
But you've got the biggest offensive line in football in front. Like Saquon Barkley, we saw what he was able to do with the Giants.
Yes.
That's the equivalent of what Micah Parsons is doing with the Cowboys defense.
Let's not forget, he won a playoff game in Minnesota with the New York Giants.
Okay.
And that was all he won.
And Micah Parsons has not had good games in big games. So this one is very, very close. I'll give a slightest of edges to Micah Parsons.
I'll give the edge to Micah Parsons as well. And I think
Really?
I think the guy is an absolutely incredible football player. Now they have moved him kind of to the edge, right? He's an all-time edge. But when they had him playing multiple positions in the middle linebacker position, blitzing from the middle, off the edge, this guy was so dynamic. He still is. And he's such a problem. Every time you break the huddle, one of the first things you say when you face the Dallas Cowboys is, where is that dude and how are we going to contend with him?
Yeah.
And you've got to do it on every single play. He's an
and to be
impact
clear,
guy.
like, would you rather have, I think it's easy for Micah Parsons because positional value. Better player relative to their position, I think is tough, but I'll still give a slight edge to Micah.
Super Bowl champion, never been to an NFC Championship game.
That is true.
I'll take Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
All right.
Spin that wheel.
Oh, baby.
Whoa.
Woohoo! Thomas Jefferson. Wait a minute. That's Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, it is.
I would have taken TJ over Saquon Barkley. After all, he was a president. But we're going with the wide receiver. Justin Jefferson, arguably the best wide receiver in all of football. Would you take him over Saquon Barkley, Mark Schlereth?
See, this goes against everything I believe about football. Like, I normally would never take a wide receiver over a running back, but Justin did teach me how to do the griddy.
What?
Yes, he did. We have the video of it as well.
What? Yes, yeah.
They don't have it ready, but
No. He taught me how to do the griddy. I'm having a knee issue right now. Like, it was something like this. Hold on.
Oh, my God.
I can't remember. I can't really remember, but it was like, yeah. But I mean, it was like, I can't remember exactly how to do it. Oh, and then he went, whoop! Oh, my knee is killing me.
They call him Mr. Rhythm.
Yeah.
impressive.
You know what? Fish belly white from Alaska.
Yeah,
That's
you sure
how
are.
I've been described. So just because of our relationship, and he taught me that, and the guy is money wide receiver, I'm going to go Justin Jefferson.
I think this one's easy. I think Justin Jefferson is the best non-quarterback in the NFL. The fact that he can do what he's done with that level of consistency with Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold, I mean, imagine him with Josh Allen or Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes. It's ridiculous. I think he's the best non-quarterback in the NFL.
Let me throw a little monkey wrench into those plans just to ask the question. This year, he's got essentially a rookie quarterback that's never thrown a pass in the NFL.
And he'll still put up
JJ
numbers.
McCarthy. You think he still puts up the type of numbers we've seen?
100%.
Even with JJ McCarthy?
Yeah, I do.
I think he
I
puts
think it's
up.
a down year for him, not because he's any less of a player, but now you've got a kid who's going to be like, bing, 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 bing. What do I do? What do I do? I think it's going to be a tough year for JJ.
Yeah, if anything,
Let's throw it up to 18.
Right,
He's
exactly.
He's going to bring it down.
Exactly. If anything, he'll just get more targets.
Let me see the griddy again. Yeah. That's why they call him Salmon, folks.
Wow.
All right. Spin that wheel.
It's impressive, huh?
It's very impressive. I'm in awe of you every day.
All right. Mrs. Garrett. All right. Leaf Garrett? No, Myles Garrett.
Myles
Garrett. Highest paid defensive player in history of football. Cleveland Browns Look, I'm not waiting just for the money. I want to play for a team that's got a chance to win. Here's a lot of money. I love Cleveland. All right, Myles Garrett, one of the most dominant defensive players we've ever seen, and arguably the best player on defense in football today, or the best running back in football?
I'm going to go with the most dominant defensive edge player in the game today. I'm going to go with Myles Garrett. I mean, he is he's such a physical specimen, and he's so, again, going back to my Micah Parsons comment, when you break the huddle, man, you've got to have not one, but you've got to have 2 or 3 guys assigned to taking him out of the game plan just to give your quarterback an opportunity to be successful. Myles Garrett is just one of the most dominant players in football, so I'll take him.
Yeah, me too. And again, positional value, but we're trying to do like actual best player. And Saquon is the best running back in the NFL. But Myles Garrett, the percentage at which he gets double teamed, the lack of other star power in terms of pass rushers that he's dealt with in Cleveland over his career, I'm with you. I think he is the single best defensive player in the league.
Joker, and the triple.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett.
Garrett.
As much as Saquon Barkley is awesome.
He's incredible.
And he's awesome. This dude is a game wrecker. And only because he plays for a lousy franchise is he not in every record book and considered arguably the greatest outside defensive lineman of all time. He's in that conversation.
Dude, he is an absolute freak of nature. There's no question.
And I agree with you, though. He does take a little bit of a reputational hit for how he handled this contract.
Yeah.
Just hold out for more money.
I never said I wanted to go from Cleveland right to Canton. 6 months later, I can't wait to go right to Canton.
Not even 6 months. It was like instant. I can't believe he handled that.
All right, spin
that wheel.
A lot of suspense here, Sting.
Whoa!
That guy right there is Jamar Chase.
Yes, he is.
His offense scores too fast.
Yes,
This year, they may
does.
slow it down a little bit. But all you take, you're one of the top wide receivers in football, like you did with Thomas Jefferson, with Jamar Chase over Saquon Barkley.
Damn, I hate. You guys have put me in a quandary here.
Because you hate wide receivers.
I do hate wide receivers for the most part.
Yep.
Yeah. I just don't.
The man didn't even go to Ed McCaffrey's wedding
Yeah.
because he hates wide receivers.
But I would take Jamar Chase.
Yeah, there you go. Why?
He's just
because it's more valuable, right?
Well, no, it's not more.
It is.
No. It's not more valuable. It's just the guy is an absolute freak show. And the definition of star wide receiver or number one, true number one, is a dude that can catch a 6-yard slant and take it 80 yards.
So,
and every time this guy touches the ball, he's got a chance to go to the house.
I'm being told to up the ante a little bit for you, Mark Schlereth.
Oh, really? Okay.
All right, this is the up the ante moment. Right now, don't give it too much thought.
Okay.
Smoke comes out of the
Yes,
ass.
right.
All right?
It's not my strong suit. Too much thought.
Forget about the money involved.
Okay.
Right now, today, you're the general manager of the Cincinnati Bengals. The Eagles call you. We'll trade you Saquon straight up for Jamar Chase. What do you do?
No, you don't make that trade. I mean, but you have to look at the injury history. You have to look at the overall how backs age in the National Football League versus wide receivers. You keep Chase all day long.
You said you wanted to run the football more in Cincinnati. I'm getting you the guy.
They can run the football more. They choose not to.
Okay.
They chose. Hey, Joe Mixon had a great year last year in Houston.
In Houston, yeah.
Right. They chose not to keep him.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a choice.
Listen, I'll take Jamar Chase, and I'll even say, as great as Saquon Barkley's season was last year, Jamar Chase's was more historic. Fewer guys have done the Triple Crown at receiver than have been 2,000-yard running backs. He led the league in catches, yards, and touchdowns. It was an all-time season.
One might say he should be on the cover of Madden.
Yeah, but
they
didn't make the playoffs. He didn't have the signature play. They didn't win anything.
Yeah.
But I love Jamar Chase.
They told me I got time for only one more, so.
Right, it's got to be an offensive lineman, right? It's got to be an offensive lineman. Trent Williams, baby. It's got to. Come on. Whoa, Tristan Wirfs, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Tristan Wirfs is there. Whoa.
Robert Junze.
Hey.
Somehow, some way, the wheel always gets it right.
Jalen
All right,
Johnson.
This is the wheel of which non-quarterback is the best player in football. Saquon's on the cover of Madden. Saquon gets the new contract. Saquon's the guy. All right, we voted on all these guys. Who is the mystery person? And for the second week in a row, I have no idea.
Really?
I thought you put it together.
No idea. No, the new intern did.
Oh.
Here we go.
Okay, great.
All right. Is Saquon Barkley a better player than the guy that was just voted amongst his peers and other people as the number one wide receiver in all of football, A.J. Brown?
Wow. Okay. Pro Football Focus graded him as the best player in football last year. Yeah, that's a ridiculous grading. And I like Pro Football Focus, but that's ridiculous. Actually, I will take Saquon Barkley.
Saquon over his teammate.
I will take Saquon over his teammate. I think A.J. Brown is a top 6 receiver in football, but Saquon Barkley's clearly the best running back.
Yeah.
And, Devontae Smith would have even bigger numbers if A.J. Brown wasn't there.
AJ's not even the best receiver on the wheel.
Yeah, he's
correct.
Right, he's the third best receiver on the wheel.
Correct.
He's the third best receiver
Listen,
on the wheel.
I love the guy. I think he's a great player. Does too much reading for me, though. All that reading on the sideline. I don't like that.
You don't like books.
I don't like all that book learning. And nothing you can get from a book, you can't get twice as fast off TV. So I'm going to go with Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley. Whoa, be careful, buddy. Saquon Barkley is just it's just an absolute freak show.
I wish I went to your elementary school. Kids, put the books away. It's TV time.
TV time. I got to tell you, though, that this is what it should have been right here.
Yeah.
That right there. That's my guy.
Man,
you want to put Trent Williams is the most dominant player. That is the most physically intimidating player in the National Football League right now, and I find this whole exercise to be disrespectful. When we don't have an offensive lineman on the put him in the middle, right? Yeah, should be the face of the league. Get a little bit older, but that dude, he scares people.
The Wheel of Trent.
The Wheel of Trent.
Yeah, the Wheel of Trent.
Ratings bonanza.
There you go.
There it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Wheel of Trent. He is peerless.
Yeah. I see no problem with it.
You've got no problem with it. It is time for Craig Carton. Take it away, a la Carton.
All right, let's go back to track and field, everybody. This gal's got like a 50-meter lead over the competition. So let's take a look at how this race comes to an end. Let it play, boys. There she goes for the easy dub. Only one hurdle left, and it's coming up right here. And that usually means trouble. But here's the question. Does she do a somersault? Does she face plant onto the track and break her nose? Or does she lay down in agony and scream, "Why me?" and come in dead last? Find out right after this as Mark takes us to break doing the whitest griddy of all time. All right, here she goes, little track and field star, but she's going to stumble over the last hurdle right there. Stop! Or don't stop, just let it play. Give away the ending. Okay? I'll just rip that up. Well, I'm
going to say she does a somersault and finishes.
Yeah, well, you got it right, Mark.
Good job.
Way to leave the audience guessing, guys. Good job.
Like I said, you know what? You don't need to do all that reading. Just watch TV.
Even better, they sped it up. Oh, by the way, the answer was she does 2 somersaults and wins the race.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
I got that wrong.
I guess you
I
saw
noticed that almost instamatically.
Yes, you already saw that.
Right there. Right here's
there.
where I noticed it.
Doink. There you go.
All right, touchdown.
That was fun.
All right, we move on. It is time for First and Football. We start with first down. Stephon Diggs was back at OTAs yesterday. Footage emerged last weekend on a boat with some questionable substance. So, will Stephon Diggs be a distraction for the Patriots?
No.
I have a question on this, Danny.
Okay.
So he's in training camp now. There are reporters that cover these OTAs.
Sure.
And most of the top guys are available at some point after practice. I may have missed it, so if I did, it's on me. Has anybody said, Stephon, what was the pink substance in the bag?
Well, he hasn't spoken yet, and we don't know if and when he will be made available. And I got to say, what a coincidence that this footage is just so readily available
to
all media outlets. Hey, guys, look. Everybody gather around. He's practicing. This is the video we want of Stephon Diggs out there.
Like, how is he not available to answer this? Like, if I'm a Patriots fan and there's stories out there that the Patriots might try to find a loophole in his contract to get rid of him because of it,
yeah, but
don't you want to know?
Well, the loophole was fail him on a physical, and based on the video I'm watching, he's not failing any physicals, man. This guy looks like he is ready to roll.
Yeah, but also like wanting to talk and then an NFL team allowing you to talk.
Two different things.
Two very different things. I mean, yeah, of course, I gotta believe the Boston media has requested with Patriots PR.
I'm sure.
Can you make Stephon Diggs available? And I'm just guessing from my experience of covering NFL teams in a couple of different cities. My guess is the answer went a little something like that. No.
But here's the problem.
You know what? I can't confirm. I can't confirm.
The problem with that is you let the story linger.
Oh, I'm not saying it's the right strategy.
If he came out yesterday and said, look, that wasn't cocaine. Well, I don't care. Make it up, whatever. Right. Whatever it was, right? The story ends. The fact that he's not available, I mean, the first day he's available, I'm asking him about it.
No doubt. But you think if he gives the answer to that question and he says that it wasn't, you're just like, oh, okay. I believe
follow up.
I believe
Bless you.
Thank you.
That's disgusting.
Yes.
That's just, come on.
Oh, all right, move on. Thank you, my friend. Hey, the number 2 pick of the NFL draft, Travis Hunter, was trying to play both ways for the Jaguar. Here's his head coach, Liam Cohen, on Travis Hunter.
Just the movement skills and some of the man coverages, the feel and zone, you can definitely see how natural it is for him. Still learning, still growing, still trying to learn the calls as much as possible. But when you see him just in the actual 7-on and team setting, he doesn't look out of place by any means.
All right, where do you expect Hunter to make the biggest immediate impact?
That's such a silly thing. I feel bad for Liam Cohen having to answer that kind of question. He's obviously, regardless of what he becomes as an NFL player, he's clearly a great athlete, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So the fact that on a field in a T-shirt and shorts, essentially, 7-on-7s and whatnot, that he looks athletic, stop the presses. Wait a minute. You're telling me you moved up to get a kid second in the draft who's amazingly a great athlete and looks athletic on a football field? The question's going to come down to the intricacies of now playing as a professional athlete. Do you know the playbook? Do you understand it? Are you on the field where the quarterback expects you to be? Defensively, do you know what you're doing defensively outside of just man-to-man coverage? All the things that he has to learn because he's a rookie. But I'll tell you what, and I don't know why I feel this way about him, but I do. I'm rooting so hard for this kid to be awesome. I want him to be a two-way player. I want him to dominate, be the rookie of the year, because he's such a likable kid. He's got a smile that goes on for days, and I want this kid to be good. I can't stand the Jaguars. I want this kid to be awesome.
I do as well, and interestingly enough, I watched that entire press conference. He was really talking about his defensive prowess in 7-on-7 and down there in the red zone, and he talked about the fact that Travis Hunter not only looked the part from a coverage standpoint when he was man-to-man, but had the spatial awareness, and that's one of the things that really set him apart when you watch him play defense. He understands because of his, I think a lot of it is because of his offensive skill set and because of the fact that he played offense. He understands leverage, he understands spatial awareness, he understands route combinations, so he's really good on that side of the ball. So where he might have the biggest impact right off the bat, I think is on the defensive side.
Wow. Okay, because I got to be honest, I've been assuming offense because it's hard to have a noticeable impact on defense as a rookie corner. Like, how are we gonna measure it?
Well, they're gonna throw
if they don't throw at him, then you're like, well, he didn't really make any plays. Yeah. There is, if they throw at him all the time and he makes a bunch of plays, then that's how you get it.
Well,
right?
if he makes a bunch of pass breakups, a bunch of interceptions, that's just, you don't normally see that type of production from rookie corners. Whereas we just saw Brian Thomas, right, on the Jaguars. Like, they are so invested. New offensive head coach, new play caller, getting the most out of Trevor Lawrence, the success with Thomas last year. Like, my assumption is that he's going to have 60 catches. Like, it'll be pretty easy to measure his offensive impact.
If you want to know where he is defensively, because on offense, maybe you're right, even if he doesn't play every snap, 40, 50 catches, which would be huge for a guy that's not playing every single snap. I want you to write down a date. You got a pen?
Well, you took my pen.
Oh, I did. Here you go.
Okay, great.
I want you to write down the date, September 14th, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Because if Travis Hunter is lined up as the starting cornerback for the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm going to tell you who they're playing. You have to look it up.
No.
All right?
Keep going.
September 14th, the Jacksonville Jaguars play Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. We will know after September 14th exactly what Travis Hunter is as a starting defensive back
He'll be
in
tested.
the NFL.
He will be tested.
Because if I'm Joe Burrow
Yeah.
and I'm the Cincinnati offense, whether it's Chase or whomever,
Higgins, yeah.
I can tell you exactly what I'm doing. We got a rookie on the field. Go get him.
All right.
Yeah.
By the way, and this doesn't mean anything, but the depth chart right now, as currently listed in Jacksonville,
Yeah.
he is listed as a starting wide receiver in
Okay.
a 3-wide set, okay, with Brian Thomas and De'Ami Brown from Washington
Sure.
and Travis Hunter, but he is listed as a backup left cornerback.
So then Danny's more right. More
On-
offense and
As
defense.
of now. I mean, a depth.
He's
That's
Sure,
the
I suppose.
OTAs, though. But again, based on our discussion previously,
Yes.
we don't put any weight into OTAs.
OTAs are the dumbest thing we show video of in the history of showing dumb videos on TV.
They're
Like,
fun.
oh my God, look how great so-and-so looked in a T-shirt and shorts with no rush against third-string defensive players. By the way, I will say
Stephon
this.
Diggs did look good, though. in shorts and t-shirt. He did look good.
Great.
He did look
So
great.
did Travis Hunter.
They do open up against the Carolina Panthers. That could be a 3-pick, 3-touchdown day for Travis.
That'd be fun.
Because they don't have a quarterback in Carolina.
I'll probably be doing that game. AFC South and NFC South. We move on. Lions center Frank Ragnow announced his retirement from the NFL, age 29, only 29 years old. Ragnow, a 4-time Pro Bowler. So, how does this retirement impact the Lions offense, Danny?
I think pretty significantly. I don't know, and we'll see what type of journalism is done around this to see how much of a surprise this was for the Lions, or if they were expecting it, and if that influenced their draft. So, but I mean, a 29-year-old 4-time Pro Bowler with years left on his contract, who is on a team that is expected to be one of the 5 or 6 favorites to win the Super Bowl, is a massive story. I think bigger than losing Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, even, because now the interior of their offensive line is inexperienced. If Glasgow gets hurt, and we don't know if he's going to end up needing to be their center or if he is going to stay at guard, but I've been talking about the Lions' offense as being automatic because of their offensive line.
Yeah.
And I still think they have the best tackle combination in the NFL.
Yeah.
But I've talked about them as the second best offensive line behind Philly. That's in question now.
Yeah, especially as a quarterback, you want to be able to step up in the pocket. Now all of a sudden you have uncertainty at the guard positions, right? Because
And it's center.
Mahogany's a second-year player, and then you talk about the guy they've got as a second round draft choice in Ratledge. Is the guy they drafted. And I have this unique ability just to look at a picture and be able to tell if you're a good player or not, with it, even without studying film.
Wow.
Like, this guy's going to be awesome. Like, that guy, that is right. That is a Pro Bowl look. Plus, he wears the Gucci 69. So I mean, how are you going to go wrong with that? That you should lessen your concern. Look at the flowing locks. When
Dude,
you're
I
on a
want
40,
I
come
want
on,
5
come
of
on.
those guys
Yeah,
on my
that's fair.
offensive line.
Dude, that
That's
dude
fair.
is beautiful.
By the way, I was looking up the injuries that Frank Ragnow has suffered in his relatively short career. 7 years, he's made $58 million. And because I can't process a 29-year-old kid walking away, A, from the money, and B, from the opportunity to be a professional athlete at 29 years old. It doesn't jive with me because I obviously never experienced it, right? But to be fair to the kid, he had a fractured throat.
Yeah.
I never even heard of that before. He must have got punched in the throat.
Yeah, right.
So he had a fractured throat, an injury I've never heard of before. He tore his pectoral muscle, and he's had chronic problems with his feet and toes. So this is a guy that probably has a tough time getting out of bed. I imagine the throat thing's been cleared up, and the muscle heals. You can speak to that. But when your feet and toes are killing you, it's probably not fun to get out of bed in the morning, right?
No, I mean,
And he's made almost $60 million.
Right.
So if he was even a little bit smart with his money and bought a nice 20-acre farm somewhere in Tennessee and can raise goats the rest of his life, maybe that's a good life. I don't know.
Listen, this is a guy who has played with a lot of pain, played through a lot of injuries.
How do you fracture your throat?
Right here, I'll show you.
Right into that one.
Right.
But
But that's a guy that played with a lot of pain. He's shown up time and time again with injuries and all those things. And I'm sure for him, it's about integrity, right? Like, I'm sure that he went in thinking, I'm going to get you to do all the rehab and do all these things. And he's sitting at a point right now going, man, I can't play to the level that has become expected of me, that I expected myself. And the integrity, from an integrity standpoint, there's more integrity in walking away from the game right now. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see him come back a year later.
The money. He could come back and not be able to play or not give it his all mentally. And that's not fair to the team either. So you give him credit that he did the right thing by everyone, walked away from the money.
Yeah.
Because all you do is show up, and they got to pay him.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and his retirement statement basically indicated some version of, I can't lie to myself, my body's not bouncing back like I expected, and I've got to do what's in the best
Danny,
interest
not
of me
just
and my
that.
family.
Tore his meniscus, ankle injuries, groin injury, calf injury, back injury. Like
I tell the story all the time where I knew it was time for me to retire.
Yeah.
Like when you start the 11, when you're more of a hindrance to your team winning than a help, like that's a hard thing to come to grips with. And I saw myself on film. I didn't realize it was me. And I thought as I was watching, I thought it was one of my backups going, man, that kid sucks.
And it was you.
And then I looked a little closer. I was like, oh, my God, that's me.
Ragnow's still
That's
really
bad.
good when he
He's
plays.
He's really good.
Yeah.
But when your body stops responding, especially in the offseason, when you're like, hey, man, a month or two rehab, I'm going to be great, and you're not, and you're still hurting, and it still doesn't.
By the way, there's also the flip side. You know, you had a 12-year career and famously had, 29 surgeries throughout your career. You also didn't make $60 million.
No.
And there's a good chance, had you banked $58 million, you might have retired after 9 years. Because you would have been financially stable.
Absolutely.
So, he's in a position.
Different time.
The average guy, and certainly your generation of athlete, did not have that same opportunity where I could retire at 30 and I never have to worry about paying my mortgage.
Yeah, I can walk away from the game.
Yeah.
All right, we move on. Many say Jordan Love took a step back last season, throwing the same amount of interceptions in 2 less games, also threw 7 less touchdown passes. Matt LaFleur addressed his quarterback. Take a listen.
I was just talking with Jory about this earlier today. I think it's funny. I think there's like a narrative out there that for whatever reason that he wasn't as productive as the year before. Well, I mean, he missed significant time. He missed the better of 3 games. 3 games is a significant amount of time, and you're going to be you're not going to produce as much from a numbers perspective.
So basically, everybody was right? He said there's a narrative out there, and then he said he missed a lot of time, and you're not going to be as productive.
And that's part of the deal, being available, right?
Grab it up your cram hole,
Look,
LaFleur.
I think it's a bit of a, not a full-on referendum because he's going to be there for a long time because his contract dictates that he's going to be there for a long time. But this is a big year for him because he did take a step back last year, whether it's injuries or just average performance throughout the season. This dude's got to now be the guy that's worth $250 million, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I think that, listen, Matt LaFleur is defending his guy, and there is some truth to it, obviously, but the interception numbers were too high on like a per-throw basis, and the end of 2 seasons ago, those last 9 games, when he had 20 touchdowns and 1 interception, it was like, oh, is this guy going to be the MVP of the league? And then he didn't look like that at all last year. So even when he had nice moments and he would have big games, it would still come with errant throws or interceptions. He looked like he was going to be the next Aaron Rodgers, which sickened those of us that have never had a franchise quarterback. And so it was like, are they really going to go from Favre, lock Hall of Famer, to Rodgers, lock Hall of Famer, to Jordan Love, lock Hall of Famer? And for 9 games 2 years ago, he looked like it. And last year, he looked good. Yeah. And so I think that is really more where the narrative changed.
So last year was kind of the second year of his starting, right? Of his career, second year of his starting. I think one of the things that happens to young players, we always talk about this sophomore slump, and I know he'd been in the league before that, right, backing up Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
But people say, well, they got a book on you, they've read you, the defenses know you, and I think that's a bunch of baloney. I think really what happens is, as an offensive coordinator, you start piling more on a guy's plate. When you first get an opportunity to start, it's a keep it simple, stupid process, right? We make sure that everything that you're comfortable with, we're not adding extra things on. As you grow in the offense, we want, as coordinators, to dump more on your plate, more on your plate, more on your plate. And oftentimes that leads to guys making more mistakes. So it'll be interesting to see how he responds to that. I still think his upside is incredible. We saw that, his first year, that last 9 games that you talked about, unbelievable.
He's very talented. He's got a big arm. He's fearless. He's willing to make so many throws that borderline on dumb. Like, as I've watched almost every throw of his career, to me, he's more Favre than Rodgers. Like, he's got some gunslinger to him, so that can get you into trouble.
Well, now you got to go out there and be the reason they win and win a division, right?
Yeah.
He had the nice little playoff run 2 years ago. Step back last year, started with an injury. Week 1 in Brazil against the Eagles. But you paid the guy like he's Aaron Rodgers.
That's right.
Now he's got to be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Not yet.
All right. It is time. Craig, take it away. Wake-up call.
You know, the Detroit Tigers were one of the great stories of baseball this year. When you got things going your way, you got things going your way. Watch this right here. Foul ball off the catcher's glove.
The assist.
How about that? Right into the third baseman's glove. There you go. Great job right there. That's called attention to detail, Mark.
Right. Everybody hustling.
Everybody hustling. Everybody knowing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And McGlinchey right there with the catch shuttle. A little poo-poo platter. A little combination there, Danny Parkins.
I like it.
There you go. Detroit.
McGlinchey.
Very few people that have watched them play, but they are one of the best teams in baseball. All right, Oklahoma women's softball. They won 4 consecutive national titles. They are a dynasty, going for their 5th straight. We got women on 2nd and 3rd. Texas Tech is up. Tie game, bottom of the last. Obviously, what do? You walk the batter,
bases loaded.
Load the bases, get a force out at any base. Oklahoma says, not us. We pitch to everybody. And then this happens.
Will they pitch to Lauren Allred? It looks like it. Allred's first pitch swinging.
Going to be a play at the plate.
Loads up. Davis to the plate.
Save!
Texas Tech has done it. They end the greatest dynasty in college softball history.
Texas Tech advances on to the World Series for gals softball. And the great run, and by the way, a great run. Oklahoma, 4 consecutive national titles. That streak ends at 4 because they didn't walk the batter and load the bases. The manager should probably be fired. And then we go to a little friendly billiards. Some people call it pool. This is America versus Britain. We're teeing off here, breaking, because we won the toss. And right off the break mark, all right, there goes the blue, there goes the yellow ball, the 1 ball, the 3 ball, the 5 ball, the 8 ball, the 9 ball, and every single ball goes in.
Absurd.
And America beats the London folks in the International Snooker Championship right off the break, Danny Parkins.
Wow.
Every single ball goes in. It is a wrap. And afterwards, the American leaned to his British counterpart and he said, "Cock-a-doodle-doo."
Yes, he did. Hey, the Thunder are on to the finals. And sadly, my guy, Danny, he was right.
Choice Hotels gets you more for your money so you can maximize any road trip. Like with the road trippers we see here in their natural habitat, the breakfast area at a Comfort Inn. Here's a dad teaching his son how to make waffles, fluffy golden waffles. There's a mom making sure her daughter eats some fruit to avoid the "I'm hungry" from the back seat. And a sibling standoff over the last muffin. This is the cycle of vacation maximizationing in all its glory. Check into more. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Long show. Will they be hoisting that trophy? We discuss next.
I have the Oklahoma City Thunder winning the championship.
I think everybody in the West is playing for second place behind the Thunder.
Like, they simply do not have a weakness. So far and away better than everyone. Shea wins MVP. Shea wins Finals MVP. Thunder, youngest team in the league to win a championship. I think that's what's happening in June.
That was disgusting. The NBA Finals are set. Danny was right all along as the Thunder advance to the finals, getting set to face the Indiana Pacers. So, have the Thunder been underrated, Danny, all season long?
Yes, absolutely. And, guys, you think I only pick NFL games at 65%? No. I'll tell you who's going to win the NBA also. And I don't go chalk. The Celtics were preseason favorites. Your Knicks.
Yeah.
Your Knicks had better odds.
That's right.
Than the Thunder
That's why
before
we're playing tomorrow night?
Yeah, you're not playing tomorrow night.
No.
So this was not as chalky as some are making it out to be now. The Thunder to me have been fairly obvious if you've been watching. And I know that not everybody watches. And I know that not everybody on the East Coast watches the late night West Coast games and the regular season basketball and all of that. But they've been following a pretty tried and true formula for NBA history. 4 years ago, awful. 3 years ago, on the verge. Last year, they won 57 games and lost to the team that won the West. It's not like they came out of nowhere. And then this year, 68 wins. So they added 16 wins, 17 wins, and 11 wins each of the last years. They've been getting better and better and better. They've got a coach of the year in Dagnall. They've got an MVP in Shea. They've got the executive of the year in Sam Presti, who's the best executive in the sport. They play defense. They're young. They're athletic. They're hungry. The only thing they don't have coming into the year was rings on their finger.
Right.
And that's why the reporting that I'm not questioning the reporting. Like Brian Windhorst and Tim Bontemps, these are not hot take guys, but they would be like, people are telling us that they want to be on the same side of the bracket, and then they'd get pushed back on.
For you?
It was ridiculous.
That's probably LeBron.
But honestly, I don't know who it was, but they'd be like, oh, no, I've heard it from players, coaches, and executives. So it's not like a disgruntled scout who got fired from the Thunder.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like players, coaches, executives.
If I may, it's probably LeBron, JJ,
Right.
Rob Pelinka.
I don't know who it was, but they were so wrong. And I just...
That lines up. That actually lines up.
Yeah.
And they didn't even get a chance to play him. So it's a weird thing that, to me, this has had all of the pretty obvious makings of this team's going to be competing for and ultimately winning an NBA championship throughout NBA history. Craig, you've talked about this. You've seen it. You've watched basketball for 40 years. It's a very much a crawl, walk, run progression.
Usually, yeah.
Even Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Can't beat Detroit. Can't beat Detroit. Beat Detroit. You know,
Gotta
get
get
past
through
the
Boston.
Celtics, all that stuff, yes.
So for NBA history, that's how it's been. So I've just been watching this Thunder team and being like, they're right on schedule.
Yeah.
Right on schedule.
Yeah, it also shows you, just because you get paid to be on TV and claim you're a basketball expert or pick your sport, doesn't mean you're anything more than people that love the sport and watch teams play. Like, 9-1, whatever it was before the season started.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that people who watch the Thunder play or Western Conference basketball weren't hot like you were on the Thunder back in October, during preseason basketball. And to their credit, they've answered the bell every chance they've had. This is a wire-to-wire dominant team from the regular season through the playoffs. And the couple of times, because it's only been a couple, where they had games where, let's see how they respond in a quote-unquote must-win scenario. Game 2 against the Nuggets. Obviously, Game 7 against the Nuggets, right? And all they've done is say, bring it on, we're good. No panic here. And not only will we beat you, we're going to beat you by 40.
Right. For a lot of people, the NBA season starts on Christmas Day, right?
And
historically, that's fair.
And sorry to cut you off, but they were not one of the 10 teams picked to play on Christmas Day, and it has been widely reported, and I can confirm, because in my book, shameless plug, Pipeline to the Pros, Sam Presti, there's a chapter on him, so I have not interviewed him. He doesn't do media, really, but I've talked to so many people in his orbit. The Thunder were absolutely felt disrespected that they were not one of the 10 teams included for Christmas Day.
All right, so Christmas Day. For me, it starts probably a week after the Super Bowl is when I start paying attention to the NBA.
I think there's a lot of people like that.
So that's how I start paying attention. Athleticism is fun to watch. It's easy to see, right?
Yep. Yeah.
You can see athleticism. When you watch this team, you see incredible athleticism. And I'm talking about 8, 9, 10 deep.
Right.
I mean, it's incredible to watch them play. But as you study them and you watch them more, it's their ability to anticipate, it's their ability to play defense, it's their ability to play offense. It is more than athleticism. It's athleticism backed with NBA acumen, like understanding the game.
Yep.
And you watch that, they're just one of the funnest and just most exciting and most sound basketball teams to watch.
They are. I mean, I've talked about it. Their top 7 guys are all awesome defensive players. They wanted Lou Dort to be Defensive Player of the Year, but Chet Holmgren leads them in blocks, and Alex Caruso might be better than Dort at defense. And that's not even mentioning Jalen Williams and SGA and Hartenstein. So it's a ridiculously well-constructed team that, you're right, a wire-to-wire championship, a historical season. They've already won 80 games.
This is Golden State Warriors stuff.
Correct.
Chicago Bulls 90s stuff.
Correct.
This is, you don't get this all the time. This team will go down, assuming we're right, and they beat the Pacers. I don't care how many games it takes. They will be crowned champions. It is not easy, nor does it happen that often, where you're a 60-plus win team. You have the division wrapped up by New Year's, which they pretty much did.
Yeah.
And the number one seed was wrapped up by St. Paddy's Day.
Yep.
And you continue on your way because, to be fair to them, they had nothing to play for months and months.
And still played hard.
And then even when they started the playoffs against the Grizzly team with Ja Morant, and they hadn't played a meaningful game in weeks, and Memphis had to get into the seeding they got into, and the play-in and all that stuff, they went right out there and said, pimp slap.
Yeah.
And it's been fun to watch. Normally, blowouts are not fun, but they're so good at damn near every position. I just think it's a coronation. I don't think the Pacers win a game. Doesn't mean it won't be close.
Right.
Like you said, Pacers-Celtics last year, Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics swept them. Every game was decided by 3 buckets or less. That was a great series, even though it ended in a sweep. I think that's the type of hoop you might get in the finals.
Boy, disrespectful to the Pacers.
It's all right. It's respect to the Thunder.
The Pacers' secret weapon is the backup white guard off the bench in TJ McConnell.
Oh, yeah.
Oklahoma's got that.
Caruso.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, the Vikings may have a new QB, but he may look a whole lot like one of the best in the NFL. We discuss next. JJ McCarthy entering his first year as the Vikings starting quarterback. Expectations are sky high in Minnesota. Take a listen to what former Bill and current Viking Harrison Phillips had to say about JJ.
He understands that we have to build a family here, and that you can't have unique results without unique relationships that we believe in. And then, man, he's got some confidence, and he reminds me of like Josh Allen when I was with him in Buffalo, coming into his own and understanding the power that he has to lead this organization, and he's doing a fantastic job doing that.
I want to play with that guy.
By the way, you can't have unique results unless you have unique relationships.
That's right.
Sums up the show.
No doubt about it.
Sums up the show.
Yeah, I like it.
That's a leader of men right there.
That dude is a great player that nobody knows about.
I never even heard his name before.
And played with Josh Allen when Josh Allen came into Buffalo as a rookie.
Yeah.
And to have that comparison, I mean, I guess realistic expectations for JJ McCarthy, year one.
I'm not ready to put numbers on it. People are going to compare him to Sam Darnold right away in the crazy statistical year.
Who threw 2 interceptions in OTAs.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know if you guys knew that.
Famously.
Yeah.
They're not going to win 14 games, and he probably will not have the same number of the counting stats that he had. But I don't think people should expect that it's going to be bad. They took him in front of Penix. They took him in front of Bo Nix. Or I guess they took him right after Penix, and they took him before Bo Nix. Right? He's the 10th pick in the draft. They traded up 1 spot for him. Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota Vikings, with Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson playing in a dome with him as the play caller, have gotten massive seasons out of Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold. They were not the pedigree of what this kid is. And I know Darnold was a high pick, but he had failed in the NFL before. The Minnesota Vikings believe that JJ McCarthy is going to be great.
By the way, studying him coming out in the draft, okay, he didn't play a ton, right? He was limited, limited in the number of throws that he made over the course of a college career. But he was the one guy that played in a truly kind of NFL style of offense under Jim Harbaugh at Michigan. So that transition to me was a more fail-safe transition at the quarterback position because he played in an NFL structured system.
I think he's going to be very, very good. I'm not ready to put numbers on it yet, but I think he's going to be a very good football player.
He's in such a tough spot because no matter what he does, we agree he's not going to have the season Sam Darnold had last year. It's virtually impossible.
Especially if you count the wins.
So by default, it's going to be like, whoa, why do we get rid of Sam Darnold? This guy's not as good. And that's probably not fair. He's in year one. But these are the types of decisions that either make careers or end careers. Now, Kwesi, the general manager did get an extension, who's highly regarded as one of the top general managers in football out of Minnesota, is putting his career on the line. as great as he's done in Minnesota, and he's safe for now because he did get a contract extension as the Vikings general manager, you just said to long-suffering Vikings fans who've never won a Super Bowl, right, that the 14-win team last year theoretically should be in a better place with JJ McCarthy at quarterback over what Sam Darnold did, right?
Well, he's not making the decision for 1 year. He's making the decision for 5.
But essentially, that's what you're saying. Now,
but you had a quarterback.
JJ McCarthy's going to do what Sam couldn't do. Beat Detroit in the last regular season
win playoff games.
And then win the playoff game on the road against the Rams. Because if JJ McCarthy doesn't do that,
right,
Quezzy's looking for a job.
But he's done this with Kirk Cousins, who was awesome, and said, hey, it's time to move on from Kirk Cousins. Sam Darnold last year, who was awesome. Hey, it's time to move on from Sam Darnold because we believe in our system and we believe in the people that we draft to play our system.
Yeah, and they don't want to pay a quarterback $250 million just yet either.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him for that.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have given Kirk that deal, and I would not have given Sam Darnold the deal Seattle did give him.
All right, it is time now for Greg, take it away.
Yeah! The Indiana Pacers have had a nice little run. Somehow, some way they cheated their way into the NBA Finals. But did you know that the New York Metropolitans have better odds of making the playoffs than the Pacers do of winning the NBA championship? It's over, Indiana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of hate. There's a lot of hate coming out
My
of your heart
therapist
right
says,
now.
let it go. I can't. Sorry, I'm not going to do that.
But keep trying.
Yeah.
On to my
keep doing the work.
18th therapist, I guess is the way that's
doing
going
the
to
work.
go. Yeah, the Olympics in 2028 are going to have flag football. And yeah, NFL players are going to want to play in it. But I've got a better idea. How about these two gals playing female flag football? Look at the gun. And look at the catch of the wheels. That's what I'm talking about. Women playing flag football. Sure. There's nothing better. I want you to see this throw one more time.
This throw is incredible.
Woo! That is a 40-yard spiral in the breadbasket. No joke. I thought that was Patrick Mahomes.
By the way, that receiver, that's McConkey from the
Lad
Chargers.
McConkey.
Yeah,
That's exactly right. So great job, gals. And I'm telling you right now, if they represented my country, we'd still win gold because they're badasses at flag football.
America.
Was Czechoslovakia going to beat them? I say no, sir.
I like our chance.
And they only tell me I got time for just one more. We're running up against the clock in the facility. So here we go. Danny, Doré or Dorbe?
Doré.
Doré. Great choice.
Thank you.
Great choice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Shohei Ohtani's pretty damn good.
Yes.
And yeah, Aaron Judge is pretty damn good. But you know who might be even better?
Pete Crow Armstrong.
The guy that leads the majors in home runs. His nickname, the Big Dumper.
Yeah.
Greatest nickname in baseball history. Look at that dumper.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's another home run. His actual name is Cal Raleigh. And he has 23 home runs, tied with Ohtani. One ahead of Judge right now. But the Big Dumper, the home run king nobody ever heard of. And look at that rump. That's what I call
That
it.
dude will clog a toilet.
Yeah, imagine him on the boat with Stephon Diggs.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
That's the video you want to see.
Back that thing up, Big Dumper. Hey, guys, don't miss tomorrow, 9:15 Eastern. The commissioner of the NBA, Adam Silver, going to join the program.
Yeah, buddy.
You don't want to miss the commission. He's bringing gifts. I can't wait.
Yep.
Gifts.
Yeah, always does.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Always brings something nice.
Better.
Hey, by the way, earlier in the show, since we're running out of time here, we saw Mark try to do the griddy.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
That was a moment. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that right there.
Yeah. And he referred to himself as the white underbelly of a salmon.
Yes.
From a rhythm standpoint.
Fish belly white.
How'd you learn how to do that dance?
Well, you know, a while ago I was doing a Minnesota game, and one Justin Jefferson taught me how to do the griddy. You see that? Look at that. Look at now we're working through it slowly but surely. Now watch. Now watch the rhythm here. You guys make fun of me. What? Whoa! What? What? Now watch this.
Get him
what?
up.
Whoa!
Wow.
Sorry about it, folks. Sorry about it.
Yeah.
Man, that right there. That's how babies are made.
By the way,
Who's more athletic in that picture? I just can't tell.
it's tough.
It's tough to tell.
The more you watch it,
absolutely,
it doesn't get better.
No.
What do you mean that is smooth? That is smooth.
I
By
tell you
him,
what.
yeah.
So-
The dap at the end was smooth.
Yeah.
The dap was good.
Mrs. S saw that movie or that video, and she's like, "Hey,
Oh, yeah?
oh yeah."
Good for you.
Yeah. So
Congrats on all your
yesterday,
success.
She said, "Let's go upstairs and get busy." And you know what I said?
What?
I can't do both. We can either go upstairs or we can get busy, but I'm not going to do both.
I want to point out yesterday I was with John Schmidt. Now, he's not a household name.
Jingleheimer?
He was the starting center on the Super Bowl New York Jets team.
What a child.
And he came up to me and he said, I want you to let Schlereth know.
Okay.
Because I watch the show every morning.
Oh, thank you.
That left guard is the least important position on an offensive line.
Yeah.
Everything starts with guys like me, the starting center. Your thoughts?
My thoughts. Show me your ring.
Oh,
What?
yeah.
What?